touchdown, time to get Jalen his ring. You don't really want to start a thing. This a Bird Gang Nation, baby. It's a Philly thing. Hater, and you looking like you type trash. I'm just here cool on Philly the podcast. And we can call a man dog or watch Miles score off the handoff. Rest of the division, your man saw Jackson like Sean, hunting like Randall. Season here, really time to do them in. Your boy Philly Fresco. Thanks for tuning in.
What is going on, you guys? This is your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco, and it is Philly the podcast, man. Now, before we get started, be sure to hit that like and subscribe if you are new. But without further ado, today we have a very special guest on the show. Today I have with me Eagles reporter Chris McPherson. Chris, how are you doing today?
Joe, I'm pumped seeing those highlights, and seeing that tailgate footage. For me, it's like, when are we going to be able to get back to that? You missed that so much. That was one of the toughest things about last season. You were at the stadium on game day, and there's cardboard cutouts and fake fan noise. I was doing a virtual chat with I saw you had Boston Scott there in the intro. I was doing a thing with Boston and Greg War as a promotion for Acme the other night, and they were saying how they would have the booze kind of piped in there to try to keep it somewhat real, but it still wasn't the real thing. It was just a completely weird experience. It was great that we had the games, but it's without the fans, it's nothing whatsoever. It's not the same at all.
I think Philly's the only place in the world that pumping booze would make you feel more at home. I think we have that special thing. That kind of actually brings me into the first thing I want to ask you about. Now, before we talk about football and everything, it was a wild season, wild off season, with the pandemic and everything. Just as a reporter, how has that been? The shift in procedures and everything.
You lose that personal touch. You lose that connection. That's the biggest thing. Doing these Zoom calls, you don't get that face-to-face interaction. You don't get those conversations. A lot of times you probably spend about 45 minutes to an hour in the locker room every day, and a lot of it is interacting with other reporters, interacting with the players, and not just for interviews. You're getting to know guys and have different conversations with them. Because you have to cultivate those relationships in order for them to open up to you more. It's like if a stranger comes up to you and goes, hey, can I ask you X, Y, and Z? And it's kind of like, all right, I really don't know you. But if you know the person and have that relationship with them, you're going to be more comfortable. You're going to be more open. And you just didn't have that. So I felt like a fan being on the outside of things more than anything else this past season. So we're still not in the building yet. We have limited staff, on hand at the NovaCare complex, facilitating the press conferences and the things that are going on right now. Coaches are obviously in the building, but I can't wait to get into the building. It was just such a different experience this past season.
Yeah, and this season is definitely a lot of new faces. So a lot of new relationships are going to have to form. Now, let's dive right into free agency. I mean, we started off close to over $70 million over the cap. We fast forward to now, we were able to not only get cap compliant, but make a couple moves. So I guess my question really to you is, how do you feel how we in this organization did, given the circumstances of the cap and, the players we had to lose?
I think the biggest thing is let's go through the moves. I mean, first of all, you get to bring back guys like Jason Kelce and Brandon Graham, which is so huge for Nick Sirianni in building the program that he wants. It shows that the Eagles are still not that far away. A lot of people are thinking that, this team's going to take a step back. It's going to be rebuilding. No, because why would a guy like Jason Kelce, who has been year to year these last couple of years, he wants to leave this franchise in better shape, and he's not going to want to go out on a low note. So he's coming back ready to play and ready to reinvigorate that offensive line that had so many injuries last season. Brandon Graham, of course he wants to retire an Eagle, and it's so great that he got his contract extended. But again, he's at the tail end of his career. Is he going to want to go to somewhere else to chase a ring, or can he do it right here in Philadelphia? So it was really important for the organization, for the coaching staff to have those guys who are going to be able to set the standard. And then you brought in some really high character guys. Anthony Harris from the Minnesota Vikings, Andrew Adams coming off a Super Bowl win with the Buccaneers, guys who are undrafted. Harris tied for the league lead in interceptions, and just the vibe that I've gotten so far with these new guys. They're ready to compete. They've got that underdog mentality. I think that's going to be so crucial in when you're building the program, because you go back to that 2017 season, Joe, and what made it so special. And I've covered this team since 2004. Okay, I was there for the run in Jacksonville with Donovan and T.O. and the like, and Dawkins and all them. The chemistry is so important in that locker room. It's so important. And to get those key guys in there early on to really build your program is so important. So for the Eagles, understanding the limitations of the salary cap, but to come out of it with, you know, the safety position in very, very good shape. You're bringing back some of your veterans. You bring back a guy like Hassan Ridgeway, a key piece, reserve along the defensive line, adding Joe Flacco, a veteran piece at quarterback. And there's still going to be more moves to come, and they have a lot of ammo in the draft, starting with the number 6 overall pick. So I think they've put themselves in really, really good position moving forward, especially considering how strapped they were with the salary cap, Joe.
Definitely, you made me feel a little bit better. So I love it. I love everything I heard.
Yeah, it's the thing. It's, you know, it was such a tough year to go through. Okay, 4-10-1, 4-11-1, just it was not fun whatsoever. Okay, I was here for the end of the Andy Reid tenure in 2012, and you just want to see signs of hope, progress on the horizon. And I definitely think that we're starting to get to know Nick Sirianni a little bit more. We've seen a couple of interviews with him now, and he brings that energy, okay, that passion for the game. And I think we're going to have some pieces down the pipe that are going to really show the football acumen and what he's going to bring from the schematic standpoint. We haven't heard too much about that. It's about, you know, what kind of program he's looking to build here in Philadelphia. So we're going to get to see more of that side of Nick coming up here. But it's a very energetic coaching staff. They're looking to, you know, put their stamp on this. And you come into this year, it's like Jalen Hurts is going to have the opportunity to be a star for the first time in his career. And it's really the best opportunity for him, because when he was drafted, he was behind Carson. Okay. And there was really no window for him to become that starter. Now that there's one here, do you think he wants to let that go? I talked about Kelsey. I talked about BG not wanting to squander their opportunities here. You know, Howie Roseman, he doesn't want, he's tired of hearing the scrutiny. He doesn't, you know, he wants to see this team bounce back. Nick Sirianni obviously is going to have the people he wants to prove wrong, like Doug Pearson did back in 2016. This team doesn't want to have another struggle of a season. They don't want to go through that again. So there are a lot of good pieces in place. There's a lot of hungry players looking to prove themselves. And I think that's the right formula for a team that's going and transitioning into a new direction here, Joe.
Definitely. I think we're going to have to bring those dog masks back out. That might be the next wave. So I want to go back a little bit and extend a little bit, because you did bring up Joe Flacco. Obviously, kind of a hometown kid. People are excited about him coming back. He did have an interview this morning, or a press conference, I should say, talking about his role. What do you see him being for the Philadelphia Eagles, and how do you think he'll help Hurts? Well,
to me, he's competing. Okay, I know I mentioned Jalen Hurts, and he has the best chance to become a starter. Joe Flacco is here to compete. Okay, this is a guy who's been a starter his entire career. Okay, until last season with the Jets was the first year that he didn't go into it as a starter. This is a guy who still has a lot to prove, and there's a lot to be made about the coming home angle, coming across the bridge, and having everyone text him for tickets. And he said, basically, if you text me for tickets, I'm ghosting you, so don't even bother. Okay, but he said that this was the best scenario, the best situation from a football standpoint as well. Okay, it wasn't just about location and being near his friends and family. He wants to go to the place where it's the best football opportunity for him. So to me, he's going to have a chance to start. And okay, so say he pushes Jalen Hurts wins. That's great. You obviously know how important it is to have a quality backup in the league. And also, you want to make sure that with a first-time head coach, a young head coach going through his first year, you have a young receiving core. You want to have a steady hand to help develop those guys as well. You don't want a quarterback who maybe isn't as experienced, isn't as talented, and kind of hurting their development as well. Okay, we're looking for a lot of things from Jalen Reagor in his second year. The Eagles obviously have the opportunities in the draft to add some guys. Travis Fulgham, can he take the next step? Greg Ward, is coming in as like the vet now. you want to have a veteran quarterback who can help continue that development, who can show them the little nuances to be successful. You don't want a guy who's maybe inexperienced trying to help those guys take the next level as well. So certainly, there's the professional aspect of, showing the right example and being a role model for the other guys. But to me, Joe Flacco, I think, wants to show that he still has it. Okay. And that he's here to have another opportunity so that when he writes, this chapter of his career coming to Philly, it's not just to hold a clipboard and, get some tickets for friends and family and have all that nice stuff. He wants to come here and compete and have a chance to play. So I know a lot of the questions today during the press conference were all about the mentoring aspect, and that stuff's great. And I think it's important that he is a role model for the young guys. But to me, he's also here to push for that starting job.
Definitely. And at the price tag, I think it was a perfect pick. I mean, at first, I think it was shock value. People saw the name Joe Flacco. They're wondering what's going on. But I like it. And, after hearing him talk a little bit more, like you said, he's more focused on proving that he can still play football, which goes a very long way in Philadelphia. I think that's what we're built on, that worker mentality. So I want to get to a question one of our members actually asked, Philly 52. You did bring up a little bit about the draft, and he wants to know, how would you compare someone like Hurts to some of the top quarterback prospects, someone like Justin Fields, to just throw out a name?
It wouldn't be right for me to answer that because I haven't really studied these quarterbacks.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
The one thing about Hurts is, just going off what he did last year as a star in those 4 games, the leadership, the moxie that he brings into the locker room. The other guys on offense just talk about what he brings from that standpoint. And that I was in awe because of the situation he was in. Okay. It was obviously a lost season for the veterans, but this was a golden opportunity for him. And he was still able to, and again, this is coming with, no significant training camp, no OTAs because of the pandemic and all the restrictions and whatnot, that he was still able to come in and put the work in behind the scenes, get a chance to be the starter, had the upset win over the Saints, was not, and the Saints were the number one defense, number one team in the league at that point. I mean, a lot of people thought the Saints were on their way, it's going to be Drew Brees would come back and there was going to be the storybook ending for him and all this and that and the other. And of course, Taysom Hill started that game, but that was the number one defense in the league. And, between his moxie, his legs, what he was able to do with his arm, the connection he made with guys like Greg Ward in a short amount of time, there's certainly some things that he's going to have to develop, and that's going to happen regardless. It seemed like the bar was set differently because he was a second-round pick, and he showed why he was a second-round pick. I think it should be celebrated what he was able to do considering the circumstances and the way that he was able to play down the stretch, that it gives Nick Sirianni a lot to think about with the way that he wants to build this offense going into 2021. So to your original question, everyone's talking about, obviously, Lawrence and, Trey Lance and Zach Wilson, all these guys. I just really haven't studied the quarterbacks to that point. I'm not the Fran Duffy of the crew. Here, so.
No, I respect that. I had to ask. I have to ask. So now we've obviously talked a little bit about the guys that we were able to retain, bring back, but we did lose a couple of mainstays in Philadelphia. I don't want to go too deep into it, but one of our members, again, Nina Alston, wants to know kind of, how do you feel about losing people like D Jackson? Where do you think we're going to go with Zach Ertz? Do you think that he might still be on this roster this upcoming year?
It's very much a possibility. Howie Roseman has flat out said that, okay, if teams want to talk, it's got to work for both sides. That Zach Ertz is still under contract for this upcoming season. And Zach Ertz has been, arguably, if not the most productive tight end over the last 3 seasons, even coming off the injury plague season he had in 2020. So Zach Ertz is an all-time Eagle. One of my favorite guys, to cover in the locker room, guy to help bring home the Super Bowl with a game-winning, the championship-winning catch, the grit and toughness that he plays with, the reliability that he has. You hope that it all works out, but certainly at this point, he's still on the team, and until there's if a team comes up with the right opportunity, of course, Howie Roseman is going to listen, but it's got to be right for both sides. Desean Jackson, it was tremendous when he walked back in the building in 2019, and you're hoping to rekindle some of that magic that he had in the first part of his career, the first tenure with the Eagles. And we saw like little bits and pieces of it here and there. That 2 touchdown performance against Washington, the season opener, you thought this is a guy who's going to come back and have 10 touchdowns and ignite the offense. And they just couldn't stay healthy these last couple of years. So best of luck to him with the Rams, and it's great that he gets to go home to his hometown. But the Eagles just need a reliable, speed weapon there, and Djax just wasn't able to provide those last few years.
Yeah, Desean Jackson was oddly, like, I knew that it was going to hurt. I kind of knew he was not going to be on this team next year. And I knew, once he got cut, he was probably going to go somewhere else. But when it actually happened, felt amazing for the guy because, that's the storybook ending right there. If you can't do it with the team that drafted you, going back home, I'm sure is an amazing feeling. But it hurt, that was one of the guys I definitely loved watching growing up. So it definitely sucked. Now, before we get you out of here, I want to ask a couple questions pertaining to the draft. A lot of people on my, in the audience, a lot of subscribers, a lot of Philly fans are talking Kyle Pitts, Jamar Chase. How do you feel about the names being thrown out? Is there a name that you like at 6? And just how do you feel about the draft coming up?
It's just interesting because the Eagles can go in so many directions here, Joe. And, we talked a lot about the quarterback so far. You don't pick number 6 very often if you're the Philadelphia Eagles, okay? You need to look at these quarterbacks and say to yourself, if there's a guy, you were asking me, where does Jalen Hurts compare to these other quarterbacks? You need to decide whether or not is one of these guys who you might be in play for the best option for your franchise moving forward for the long term, okay? That's something you really, really have to consider. The Eagles, last time they were this high was with Lane Johnson. They got that pick right, number 4 overall. He's the only I think Mike K had this. I actually was texting with him because the thought came into my mind, and he tweeted out when the news broke about, I think it was with Eric Fisher was released by the Chiefs, but Lane Johnson is the only player in the first round from that draft who's still with his original team, which is insane. It's not that long ago, okay? But again, number 4 pick doesn't happen very often. 2016, they started at 13, moved up to 8 before they moved up to 2. It took a lot for the Eagles to get in position to get Carson Wentz. So they're not picking very high very often. So they have to take everything into consideration. And they might be in a situation where if they look at these quarterbacks and say, no, we're going to roll with Jalen Hurts and Joe Flacco into this year, I wouldn't expect them to say anything ahead of time. I don't expect our social team, led by Sam Wood and Julie Bukanskas, to do a phenomenal job. I don't think you're going to see a QB1 graphic, like you did with the Chicago Bears and Andy Dalton, okay, or whether it's a smoke screen or not. But I don't think that you're going to see that from our channels, telling everyone, we're set at quarterback, because you want to make teams think that if they want a quarterback, they've got to move up, or to hopefully push some of these other guys back. So, obviously everyone talks about the offensive line. It could be Penny Sewell, could be Christian Darrisaw, could be an offensive tackle, because you have to weigh in. What do you got to weigh in between that and what you have with Jordan Mailata, who was very promising last season, and with Andre Dillard coming off his season-ending injury and the expectations that everyone had for him being a number 1 draft pick just a couple of years ago. Offensive playmaker, but there's talent available at cornerback as well. So there's so many, areas where the Eagles can go. It's going to be one of the fun things to follow. It's going to be an exciting night. I'm glad that they're going to have it in Cleveland. They're going to have the whole draft set up and seen. And, I'm sure they're still trying to figure out what they're going to do at the different locations and whatnot. But it's great that it's going to be, that real draft feel once again this season. Hopefully we'll get to have some Eagles fans out there to represent. Because again, it's, usually the Eagles are picking, middle first round, late first round, and, you're kind of waiting all night. Within the first hour and a half of the draft, we're going to know who we've got most likely, unless they trade back, which, again, when you're a team looking to reload draft picks, it's not a bad option either. Okay. Yeah. If you can go a few picks back, still have a guy in mind that you want, and add additional capital for down the road, because you already have another quality pick coming from the Wentz trade for 2022. Can you add another one on top of that potentially? So I know that's like the answer now everyone wants to hear. They want to hear the rankings and, which receiver, do you want the Kyle Pitts type guy? I just think there's going to be so many tempting options there at number 6. The big thing for Howie Roseman and Andy Weidel, Anthony Patch, Ian Cunningham, all the guys in the scouting department, they've just got to get those rankings right so that when their time comes up on the clock, they can strike and get the right guy to help move this team forward.
Yeah, I try to preach reality here, and the reality is, like you said, we can do anything. Any name can be called at that number 6 spot. So
not mine.
I'm excited.
Yours,
yeah. Who
Those
knows?
names will not be called. I will tell you that much. But
with these pro days, we're seeing defensive ends run 4.3s. Maybe me and you need to go out there and get one of our laser times, see if we can get a 4.3 going. But so the last question I want to ask you has nothing to do with football, but it has everything to do with Philadelphia. So yesterday was National Cheesesteak Day. I need to know, did you celebrate? And if you did, where did you go?
I did not yesterday. I will say, let's see, the last one I had was John's roast pork. Down off Delaware Ave by the stadiums, by the big IKEA down there. That's a go-to spot for me. That's one of my favorites. Let's see. I actually, over the weekend, made one for my son. Oh, that counts for anything, but had some leftover steak, and I was like, son, if you want to get on this, and he's a connoisseur. He loves it much more than I do. Okay, he's the one that we can go to any. Julian is 13. He's the one that we can go anywhere, and sometimes it's a bad thing, but literally any restaurant would be like, do they have a cheesesteak? And it's like, we don't need a cheesesteak from this place. Like, come on now. There's other places out there. I'll real quick, though, one of my favorite stories is, so I went to Drexel in Philly, okay? And I used to write for, like, the school newspaper, cover the sports there, what sports they had. And, of course, they just went to the dance. Didn't go too well, but it was great to see him after 25 years of not being in it. So after one basketball game, this was, like early 2000s, and they had a promotion where if they scored 100 points in a game, anyone who had a ticket got a free cheesesteak at a place called Abner's up on, it was 38th and Lancaster, I want to say. And for the first time in I forget how many years, I'm trying to remember, I think it was a Jay Overcash hit a 3 from the corner with like 10 seconds remaining, and they hit 100 points, and the place was going nuts, and it was like well, I knew all the guys who worked in athletics, and the one guy, Sean Joyce, comes to me with literally 20 tickets. Like, dude, here you go. Have at it. I'm like, they're only good for that night. So it's like, you get a couple to my roommates and my girlfriend and stuff. But it's like, who am I going to just give these 20 cheesesteaks out to? It's 9 o'clock at night, got to figure this out. So we went by a local convenience store, and there was a homeless guy there. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I'm going to do the nice thing. Like my man, go a couple blocks up the street to show him this, get cheesesteak. He looks at the tickets, looks at me, and goes, are they any good? And I was like, oh, come on, man. So
that is perfect.
So unfortunately, did not celebrate National Cheesesteak Day yesterday, but they plenty are consumed here in the McPherson household. So I one of these days I'll have to have my son on. He's the one who has the definitive rankings of the places to go in the city. But every now and then I try to make sure one of the go-to spots to try to let them know what the good ones are.
Yeah, now you got the whole chat hungry. Everybody's putting in there getting food.
Lunchtime. I'm not surprised. Lunchtime live. So okay.
That's what we got to do, man. But hey, Chris, I appreciate you so much for taking the time coming on here. It was a lot of fun.
It's been a blast. I'll be welcome to come back anytime. After the draft, you want to break it all down. Definitely love to do that. But no, keep doing the great work you're doing. It's amazing what you've built here by yourself and your crew there. So best of luck to you moving forward, my man.
Thank you, man. Have a God bless day, and go get yourself a cheesesteak, man.
Excellent. Take care, everyone. Go Birds.
Have a good one, man. So that was Chris McPherson, guys. Thank you so much for everybody that is in here. We're going to talk a little bit about the Joe Flacco interview. I'm going to go over some of these chats. I'm sorry. I don't really like to read the chats while I'm talking to the guy because I just think it's rude. You know what I'm saying? I had questions I want to ask. So shout out to Michael Desean. Shout out to Stephen Joyce, Philly 52 in the building. My guy, Mitch Kofsky. I'm going to be on Mitch's channel Saturday at 7:30, I believe, or 7 o'clock, one of those times. Shout out to Philly 52. I got your question in, bro. I got your question in. Brandon, my guy, man. Wish you were here. He said, mad jealous. What's good, Infamous? What's good, brother? Let me make sure that's everybody. Jeremiah Butler in the building. What's going on, brother? Where you hiding? What's good, bro? I ain't hiding. I'm right here. What's good, Spike? Thank you so much. Where you hiding for the $5 donation? Love the work that you're doing, sir. Keep where you hiding, man. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that $5 super chat. Make sure I'm not missing anything else. What's good, AK Eagles? You good, brother? You good? Make sure I'm not. Ref Taco in the building. What's good, brother? Another super chat. Jeremiah Butler. Thank you so much for that $5, man. Do your thing, Joe. Chris, what's your pulse of the ID? I hope I answered that question. I'm sorry I didn't read it, man. And he said he's down to come back on, man. So we definitely are going to do it again. That was a lot of fun, man. That was a lot of fun. We'll get him back on here. We'll do this again. I try to put it in the community post, for you guys to ask questions. I know I kind of did it last minute. I apologize about that, but we'll do that again, man. So let's get first of all, who watched the Joe Flacco press conference? That's the first question I want to ask. Did you watch it? Let me know in the chat if you actually watched it, because I want to go over a little bit. Now, as Chris McPherson said, they kind of just kept asking him about, how it was going to be being a mentor, whether he was coming in for a starting job. That was kind of the overview of the whole press conference, which is fine. That's fine. They asked him like 40 different ways if he knew he was going to be a backup. Pretty sure he does. If we break down the actual contract, he's getting paid like 1.36 mil on the cap right now. So that's not bad, bro. That is not bad. I mean, I know it's with incentives, it goes up to like 1.6 or 7 mil, something like that. But 1.3, I'm not mad at it, man. Well, it's one. Yeah, I don't care about nothing other than the cap number. That's the only number that I worry about. As long as the cap number is straight, I am cool with it. As long as that cap number ain't too crazy, I am cool with it. That's how I feel. $7.5 mil. Joe was vague with the question about mentoring Hurts, general statements. Yeah, I mean, I think that he's coming. What he did say, one quote from what Joe said that kind of got me being like, okay, cool. He said he wants to compete at whatever level it is. He just wants to prove that he can play ball, man. Like, McPherson said it, bro. He just wants to prove that he can go out there and play ball still. And that's all you need, man. That's all we need. The mentoring ship, I hope that he does. I hope that he takes, Jalen Hurts under his wing. But at $2 million, I guess, whatever. It is what it is. I'm not going to beat the guy up. Hopefully he at least pushes Jalen Hurts to be better. I'm just saying you wouldn't try to get that starting spot for that extra $4 mil. I mean, he probably is. He probably is. Nobody in football. All right. There are like people that are just career backups, but nobody that's been a starter in football is going to go somewhere and say, there's no chance I'm ever going to be a starter here. They're going to have the mentality of wanting to go fight. So, bro, Flacco knows, but he didn't sound thrilled and almost cocky at times, but avoided it as much as he could. But you can tell he knew his QB2. Yeah, that's kind of how I felt. And that's kind of how I felt when we first signed him. I don't know if this guy really is going to be, open to being that backup. But we'll see, I guess. We will see. Should we still draft a quarterback in the later? Yeah, I think that this now gives you a better opportunity to do that and develop somebody, because now you have, theoretically, right? You have that veteran quarterback that can kind of be the leader of the locker room for you and like kind of help Jalen grow as a leader, hopefully. I'm saying theoretically here, you know what I'm saying? But and then if you go get a young quarterback that you can develop, then that's what the Eagles are all about. Hopefully it's just not at 6. Yeah, McNabb gave us good memories, but no Lombardi. That's a fact. Let me ask y'all a question. I want to ask y'all a question too. What's going on with Ertz? Is he staying or going? So when I asked Chris McPherson just now, he basically was saying that he thinks that it's a real possibility. like he quoted Howie Roseman saying that Howie said it has to work out for both sides, right? So it has to be what's best for both parties. So if we're not going to get a good trade for him, possibly we keep him. I don't think they're going to cut him. I'm hoping that they don't cut him. If they cut him, I'm gonna be upset. I mean, we couldn't go into this thinking they weren't going to give Hurts competition. Got to know where he is after the work Jalen is putting in. Facts. And we said from jump that they want competition. Well, not we, but they said they want from jump competition at that spot. Nick Sirianni hasn't been able to say much, but one thing he said over and over is that we want competition. So we'll see what happens. I don't mind keeping Hurts either, man. Let me ask you a question, though, because I was having an argument on Twitter with a couple of Cowboy fans, and they wanted to tell me that they are so much better than us at drafting. Now, on the surface, you look at the paper, you look at how the names and stuff. Yeah, CeeDee Lamb's a good pick. Dak was a good pick. Zeke was a good pick. Then I kind of fall off. I mean, how many playoff wins has your rookies gotten this last decade? I mean, we hate on our draft picks, but if you really look at it, man, look at the people we've missed on. We missed on DK. 31 other teams missed on DK. We missed on Justin Jefferson. We still don't know. The jury is still out on Rager. So I'm not saying that. I'm not gonna say that they're better than us at drafting. I can't say that. I can't say it. I feel like that we, as Eagles fans, only see the mistakes that we've made drafting, and we don't realize that, bro, we won a Super Bowl with mostly a drafted team. Most of that team was drafted. Our quarterback was drafted. Even our backup, both quarterbacks were people that were drafted by the Eagles. Damn near our whole O-line was drafted. Like, I mean, we got to look at both sides of the card sometimes. I would most definitely keep Ertz if they can't trade him. And now, if we keep Ertz, do you still look at Pitts at number 6? Because I know a lot of you guys want Pitts. Give it to them, Joe. They don't know how to use the players anyway. But that's what I'm saying. Like, so it's like, if it's a good player in a bad system isn't going to be good, right? I mean, like, you can go draft a million great wide receivers, but if your defense is trash, did you really have a good draft pick? Like, that's kind of how I'm looking at it. Heck, Corey Clement was a undrafted free agent. Facts. I disagree with what? Explain, brother. I need that explanation. I don't like the Cowboys, but like the more that I was talking about it, we're not that far off. I think we're both bad at drafting. We just miss on different things. We missed on what's it called? Like I said, we missed on DK Metcalf, but so did 31 other teams. Yeah, facts. That's kind of where I am as well. I'm not gonna cap. It is what it is. I just felt like, bro, I don't feel like they've had great draft picks. If you had great draft picks, you wouldn't be in the situation you are, but you would have had some playoff wins with those draft picks. Outside of like one or 2 years, they haven't had much success. So like, how good are your draft picks if you're not getting success? That's my thing. Like, both of them have to equate to something. But who have they drafted? That's my thing. Outside of Zeke, outside of Dak Prescott, in the past 10 years, who have they really drafted that's brought them success? That's what I really want to know. Because I feel like we just saying it because we mad at how we draft. They haven't really drafted anybody, bro. I don't want Pitts. We need to stop passing on talented wide receivers for flashy players. Chase is the best wide receiver in the draft, and we need to draft him. I agree. I'm not saying that, Pitts will be trash. I'm not saying that he isn't good. I'm just saying I think we know what Chase is going to bring. I think instantly he'll be one of the better wide receivers in the league. I'm telling you, he'll instantly be a number one. You don't know if Kyle Pitts is going to come in there and instantly change that wide receiver room. That's very true. If Chase is gone, I'm cool with Watts. Cool with Watts. I just read something. My bad. I'm cool with Pitts. But, if he's there, bro, I want Chase. Here's the thing, Joe. Jerry can draft damn well. He won't get out of his way and hire a coach that can corral others. But that's my question. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying if you can, anybody can go and get, Terrell Owens and all. Yeah, what I'm saying is you can draft the best player, but does that mean that it was a good draft? If it's not the player you need, if it's not a player that's going to make your team better, was it really a good draft? They went crazy after that Jalen Smith and Vander Nonek guy, and now all them people hate him. So it's like, I mean, realistically, who have they drafted? Like, that's really helped them. Where is the success? We sucked at drafting for a while, and we've made some bad mistakes, but we won a Super Bowl with a lot of players that we drafted. So I can't sit here and say, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong. They do pick good players. You know what I'm saying? But, like, after that, looking back, can you say that it was a great draft pick? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say. And maybe I am being a homer. I probably am. And thank you for the $5. I didn't even realize it was a super chat. I just got into the question. But thank you so much for that $5 super chat, brother. I appreciate you. Not 31 other teams. Not 31 other teams. The teams that took wide receiver missed in the second, and Super Bowl 17 was a lot of trades and signs, drafts. I hate to say it. Chip, LOL, Howie crushed free agent. So, I mean, all right. So, Nick Foles wasn't drafted by Chip Kelly. Lane Johnson wasn't drafted by Chip Kelly. Who else? We can go to Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, Barnett, all of our cornerbacks at the time except for Darby. Malcolm Jenkins was brought in by Chip. I'm trying to think of all the people that we had. We had like 3. I mean, I really don't think that Chip built that. It is what it is. We all going to agree to disagree. But I think one thing we can agree on is that the Cowboys are trash. I think that's one. Yeah, that's one thing we can all agree on. The only players Dallas know how to draft are O-line and running back, and the quarterback is still up for debate. That's my thing, bro. Like, outside of their O-line, they haven't had, you know, and realistically, they went like 3 or 4 or 5 years in a row just drafting offensive line. This is what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say we're great and they suck. I'm trying to say that we're probably closer than a lot of people think. We just miss on different things at the end of the day. Sad that he can't do it in the draft. I'm glad Jerry won't get out his own way. Exactly. Stay in your way. Stay in your way. And did you guys see my guy Micah? Micah Parsons with the 4.3940. Bruh, stop sleeping on my boy. Y'all keep on with this whole narrative. And this is going to be a homer rant real quick, okay? Just ignore me for a second. But y'all going to stop sleeping on my man, talking about he can't process anything. He can't do this. He can't do that. Man, give that man a chance. He is a top 10 talent. I'm so tired of it. Facts, Gene Cardone. Although I'm starting to think Dak is a good quarterback. I mean, I think he's a decent quarterback. I think a lot of these, look, you don't get to the NFL if you're trash. That's how I feel. I don't care what round you're in. You have to have talent to make it to the NFL. And from talent, once talent is over, once you get picked, you still are being judged. Right? We all are sitting here talking junk about Jalen Reagor after 1 year. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. You keep getting judged. So you have to, now that we're looking back, what draft picks can we say for the Cowboys made their team better? And one thing I do want to say, let me see if I have the picture. I don't think I do. But we're sponsoring a softball team in Philadelphia. My homegirl is, you know, part of this team or whatever. And she was basically asking if we could help her out, you know, get the funds up. So if you guys want to donate to help us, you know, get the team and everything, you guys can basically name the team for us. The link is in the description. We literally just put it up yesterday. We already got $110. So thank you to everybody that's, you know, supported us. But yeah, I wanted to do something for all of us. So we basically will all have a team. It will be our team. And soon I'll put up a community post for us all to pick the name. But yeah, if you want to donate, you can. It's in the description. Chip only had one. Yeah, he only had 1 year of control. I mean, like, most of us, I don't know. People just want to hate Howie so much. And I get it. Like, Howie has made a lot of mistakes. And, you know, but realistically, we got to take in everything. We got to take everything into account. I'm not here to, you know, be a Howie apologist. Trust me. I have Howie merchandise. Fire Howie merchandise. Trust me. Like, you can look at Philly 52's membership sticker. I'm pretty sure it's Fire Howie. Trust me. I'm driving the train to Fire Howie. But I'm trying everybody picking Dallas to win the division. Yeah, that's what happens every year, bro. That's what happens every year. Has all those Super Bowls, what, 25 years ago? We're talking about now. We talking about this past decade. The last Pro Bowl wide receiver we drafted, I believe, was Macklin. Other than that, we stuck and drafted wide receiver. Yeah, we definitely do. And that's what I'm saying. We have some terrible misses. But we've hit on some good players, man. We've hit on some good players. Even if you look at the 2017 draft, bro, like a lot of those players are still playing, just not for us. I mean, it is what it is. Like, we need a pass covering linebacker, though, if we run in cover 2. I want Parsons, man. Parsons can do it. I believe in Parsons. Parsons can do it. Parsons going to the Giants. If he makes it that far, I wouldn't be surprised. Giants definitely do stink. Every time somebody says that, I just hear Philly 500 say it in my head. Yo, I'm off work. What's good, bro? What's good? Haven't seen you in here in a minute, Eagles champ. Unless you're 80 to 90, Trey Chuck Concrete Charlie. He was a wide receiver. Was he drafted as a wide receiver? I know he played everywhere, bro. Parsons is going to be good. He just needs, I mean, that's what it is, bro. You can get the best player in the world. If you don't help them, they are going to be trash. Or if they don't help themselves, it's all about, developing talent. It is what it is. I'm nervous about the 6th pick. I'm nervously optimistic. I think that we have a lot of good options at 6, whether it be trade back, whether it be, whoever we pick. So I'm trying to be happy. Chuck Bednarik was the last player in the draft that was a really great player. Come on, man. Fletch, BG. I mean, we can keep it. Nick Foles is a Super Bowl MVP. I mean, come on, man. But the Eagles have Desean Jackson, Zach Ertz, LaShawn McCoy. We can keep going. Travis Kelce. We've drafted some great players. Jeremiah Okawasu, the dude from Notre Dame. I want Parsons and Jared. You want like either or of them, I'm assuming? The Eagles stink. I don't know about that. Howie Roseman is a dumb bleep. Yeah, I feel you, bro. Yo, what's good, Scoop Doo? If he's Micah Parsons in the later rounds, yes, I would. Micah Parsons is not going nowhere. If he drops to like 20, if I'm the Eagles, trade back into the draft, trade back into the first round and grab him. But I mean, if to your point, you said you rather have Jeremiah Osuwasu, but whatever. He is a great pass defender. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not mad at that. I mean, he's fast. He was supposed to be way faster than Micah Parsons. So y'all should keep Howie. We'll see what happens, man. Parsons is not going past 11. Big facts. He's not. Yeah. If he makes it past 10, I'll be surprised. If he makes it past us, I'll be surprised, bro. I think we should grab him. Eagles champ. Why do you think Jeffrey keep him around this long? Who knows? We do right now. Yeah, the Giants made some good offseason moves. I ain't mad at it. I mean, I'm mad at it, but it is what it is. Some of the things that put us over in 17 were the free agents in the trade. Howie made much love, though, and on DK, the teams were passed on him were people who picked wide receivers, not people who took other positions. All right, so let's go over all the players that were picked in 2017, since you want to do that. Let's do that. Let's look at the wide receivers real quick. Let's do that. So there was 7 other teams, if you don't include us, that passed on him. So I really don't say. I mean, that's just my opinion. There were 7 other wide receivers that were picked right before him. 8 if you include us. So I mean, it is what it is. It's a miss, but so did other teams. The trades and free agency, yeah. I mean, the what's it called? The running back was a big addition. Patrick Robinson was an underrated but very big signing. But I mean, that's what Howie did. So I don't really understand. And then the draft picks were a huge part of that. Like our whole offensive line, our whole defensive line. Like I don't get. I mean, it is what it is. I don't think 3 players won that Super Bowl. But hey, like I said, it's all up for debate. It's all agree to disagree at this point. John Jones, I have no clue. I don't think anybody does. Concrete Jolly played both sides of the ball. One of the last offensive and defensive. Yeah, he played like 60. He played every single minute. He was in the 1960 championship. He was the guy that got the last freaking tackle. Never forget that. Not that I was there, but you know. Jason Kelsey. Who did I say? I was trying to just name everybody on that offensive line. I know our whole O-line was basically drafted. I'm not understanding what you're saying, John Jones. Are you saying that we have not had a good player since the 60s? Because that's kind of weird. How would you react if Dallas takes 13? Honestly, I would think that would be the best pick for them, so I would be upset. You know, I think that would be probably the smartest thing for them to do is go get a good cornerback. But I don't think they're going to do that. I'd be shocked because I something tells me they're going offense, whether it's offensive line, whether it's, you know, a wide receiver or Kyle Pitts, whatever. I'm not going to say he's a tight end. I'm just going to say Kyle Pitts. You know, I just think they're going offense. So it would surprise me, but it'll be a good pick. Talking to him. Parsons not getting past 11. For real? Damn, that's what's up. Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know why he said he was a best wide receiver. That's what I thought he meant, at least. I was like, he's a wide receiver. But yeah, no, I know he played both sides. That man went crazy. One is a linebacker DN hybrid. One is a linebacker safety hybrid. I want both. Hey, I would take both if we could find a way. Hey, if we could find a way. We're talking linebacker in the second. Jabril Cox from LSU is a good pickup. We'll just lose out on a decent cornerback, so time will tell. We'll see. Hopefully, maybe we could even get back into the second round. I mean, anything's possible. We got 11 picks. You know, if we can hit on 5 of those picks, that will be huge. And when I say hit, other than the first pick, I don't need any of them to be all pro or Hall of Fame players. I need you to hit on that 6th pick, especially if you stay at 6. That man better be a monster. Outside of that, get me some starters, get me some, you know, some decent, good players. Some. Let's start filling out this roster a little bit. How would you feel if I already got that? If you're a good Eagles reporter, then report on who is going to announce the Eagles pick at 6. I don't know who's going to announce the Eagles. I'm not an Eagles reporter. We just had Chris McPherson on. You should have asked him. Come on, guys. What you think of y'all going to do in this draft? I mean, I know you're asking Jeremiah, but if I'm them, I'm taking defense or moving back and taking defense and trying to build up this defense. But if you're staying at 6, go ahead and just take Chase, bro. Just take Chase. Pitts or Chase, I'm in the middle. If Chase isn't there, go ahead and take Pitts. I'm not mad at it. I just don't think that I wouldn't take Pitts over Chase. And I'm not saying Pitts is trash, but I'm super glad we didn't get Adoree and the Giants paid him like he was a lockdown corner. The guy literally had a 57.8 PFF grade. He's burnt toast. Big facts. They overpaid like a mug for him. But one thing I will say, I don't know how his contract breaks down, but I know a lot of the Giants free agents that they got, they're paying them these next 2 years. And then after that, you know, they have options on basically everybody. So, you know, we'll see what happens. I hope he stinks, though. 2017 was the best free agency we had in a long time, and we didn't break the bank to get those guys 1-year prove-it deals. We've tried that. That's been our formula for the longest. That's what we do. That's how we got Darren Sproles. That's how we got Malcolm Jenkins. Obviously, that's how we went crazy in 2017. That's what we've done to try and extend the window. Now it's just time to really rebuild, and you don't really do that through free agency. That 1-year deal to Anthony Harris was probably golden. That's probably the best way it could have panned out for us. So, I'm happy about that. Y'all just having a whole conversation down here, man. You're having a whole conversation. Czech Bednarik tore his bicep tendon during the game and had the trainer tape it with duct tape. No BS. Yeah, I know. I have I gotta find it. I have like one of those. It was before we won the Super Bowl, but it was like the history of the Eagles, and yeah, they went over all that. It's crazy to hear about him. Question: how long has this team been in existence? 1933 to 2021, 91 years been in existence. How many? Who's your squad? Who's your squad? You too scared to put up a picture, but you're out here trolling. Why would be salty about Adore? He's horrible and hasn't had an interception in 2 years. Giants. That's what I say. Giants fans just let him have it, bro. Let him have it. I'm definitely cool with trading back. Not too far though. We still need one of the. I agree. Look, perfect scenario. 5 or 4 quarterbacks go in the top 5 picks, and at 6 we're sitting there, and there's still one quarter, like maybe a Mac Jones that the Patriots want to. Well, maybe not the Patriots because that's a little bit far back, but somebody that's willing to give us a bag to move up. You know what I'm saying? We might be in a position to really come up off these picks. Adore was overpaid, but he fell in the void at QB2 or CB2, so I'm cool with it. That's what it is. Sometimes you got to look at Dak. They overpaid the hell out of Dak just to keep him, but they had really no other option. Shoot, we're overpaying Darius Slay next year. He's going to get like $23 million, but we had to move that contract back. Shit happens. I ain't paying him, so I don't care. As long as the cap hit goes down. That's my only concern. If you were a GM, who would you draft, Pitts or Chase? Let's say Chase is gone in the first or second, then would you pick? Yeah. If one of them is, those are my top 2 guys. Well, realistically, my top guy is Micah Parsons, but I know he's not going to get drafted, so it is what it is. So my top 2 guys are probably Chase and Pitts. Yeah. I like Pitts over the other wide receivers right now. And I've seen somebody put out a mock draft that we were going to take Waddle. I don't want Waddle at 6. I'm good. He's, I think he'll be old as hell, man. Not old. I think he'll be expensive as hell is what I meant to say. If Sherman wants to come here on a very, very cheap deal, then, God bless him. But I don't think it'll happen, to be honest. John Jones is sneak dissing. People keep talking and letting that. The thing is, Doug wouldn't play Watkins, and when he did in the Cardinals game, he scored a TD. I want to get Pitts since he's not really a star, but Fogelman wrote. Pitt, you don't get somebody that you don't think is going to be a star at number 6. You just don't do it. If he's not going to be that guy, shout out to Chris McPherson. I didn't think he would bring it up, but the possibility of getting a quarterback is very real at number 6. Like he said, we don't draft this high very much. And when we do, it's got to be a marquee player. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. But either way, I'm about to get out of here, man. Just wanted to come out here, talk some talk. So, is it true they won? And who is your team? Who's your team? Are you a Giants fan? Because if you're going to troll, I want to at least troll back, brother. Like, let me get you know what I'm saying? Who's your team? Who are you repping? The Giants? The Giants that we've beaten, 8 out of the last 9 games? Is that who you're repping? I need to know, bro. Are you repping the Dallas Cowboys that couldn't beat our practice squad a couple years? Is that who you're repping? Are you repping a team with no name? I need to know. I think once we draft Chase, we should go defense. Yeah, I agree. Once the first round is over, if you want to go get the best player and that guy is on offense, go get him. After that, it becomes an asterisk. You go for best player available, but the asterisk is you want to find, positional needs. It is what it is. I do think we need to trade back. Malcolm Butler to the Cardinals. That's big. That's big. Cardinals are strapping up, bro. Cardinals are strapping up. That's what's up. Yeah, no, let the Giants get somebody weird or the Cowboys, whoever he's repping. No, I mean, he's not really a tight end. I got a typo. The wide receiver room will help. Yeah, so if you think that Pitts is that guy, then go ahead and grab him. Like, I'm not mad at that. But other than that, guys, I am about to get out of here. I appreciate everybody coming in and just chilling. So definitely hit that like, hit that subscribe if you haven't already. And if you want to go back to the beginning, man, we had Chris McPherson on here for about 20-30 minutes. He emailed me already, said he would love to come back on. He really enjoyed you guys. So definitely thank you guys for chilling out. But other than that, you know what it is. It is fly, Eagles fly. And we are out here.